Hi, everyone. I have my client Trevor Dixon here. He sells real estate in High Point, North Carolina. But the exciting thing about this amazing guy, 7 months in real estate, has 20 closed transactions, seven active listings, Trevor, is that correct?
That is correct.
And five under contract. I know there are a lot of agents listening to this, like, okay, tell me how you did it, because whether someone is brand new to real estate or even been in real estate for a while and haven't even been able to, you've closed 20 transactions in 7 months. I mean, there are a lot of agents that are struggling to just do a handful of transactions a year. So number one, where is High Point, North Carolina?
So we're sort of in the central part. We got High Point, Winston, Greensboro, about an hour out from Raleigh or Charlotte.
Okay, amazing. So tell us your background before you got into real estate, because you were somewhat involved in real estate. So take us there.
So 2018, me and my wife started a remodeling company
Yes,
and just went full on in that for the bulk of our time. But in that process, we got into some real estate investing.
yes.
Did a few flips. We collected a few rental properties. So I was used to the buy sell transaction, but it was all off market.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Never really dealt with the MLS.
Right.
Anytime we sold, we would just hire a listing agent and they would sell it for us. But all
Mm-hmm.
our purchases were sort of off market.
Okay. So what made you decide 7 months ago to get a real estate license and be an agent?
Honestly, a little bit of burnout. Kind of wanted something different.
Mm-hmm.
Managing 10 plus projects and all the other things that we had going on. We had four businesses before we shut them down.
Mm,
It was, yeah, it just wasn't the lifestyle we wanted anymore. We wanted a little more freedom, a little more flexibility in our schedule.
absolutely. And obviously real estate is going well for you.
So far, yeah.
One of the things that I think sets you apart and it justifies the results that you've gotten so quickly into real estate, you told me that you started cold calling right away. You got
Yeah.
a license, and like, okay, I'm gonna just start dialing. And you started calling expireds and FSBOs. How did you get into that? Where did you, or, obviously you're a smart guy, but I don't want to assume it's like, how did you just decide, okay, I'm gonna call expireds and FSBOs?
Sure. Well, I mean, the first month with the transaction or the transition, it was a little difficult.
Hmm.
Um, my broker and everybody in the firm is like, well, call and let everybody know that you're an agent. So I
Right.
burned through my sphere
Yes.
per se quickly. And
Yes.
then I realized like there's nobody else to call.
Right.
From building the prior businesses, I know that marketing in general is typically long term plays. If you want quick results, you're either A, buying leads,
Right.
or B, you're going to have to go to the source.
Hmm.
So I didn't know what that was for real estate. So I got on YouTube
Hmm.
and I found people like yourself on YouTube sharing experience. And I just figured, what the heck, and started.
Why not? So was there
Yeah.
any fear in you about, calling these people, or you're just like, yeah, I'm just gonna go for it. Figure it
No,
out.
of course, there was definitely the call reluctance. I've never done hardcore sales like that.
Okay.
In my world in construction, I mean, people did seek me out after maybe the first year where my name had gotten out there. But so I've never done sales like this. So there
Okay.
definitely was call reluctance. But watching YouTubes, and there isn't really anybody in my firm that does this. So I didn't really have anybody to consult with.
You
Uh,
also don't have competition, so it's great.
No, I don't have that either. Yeah. But YouTube's been a phenomenal resource. I hate to keep mentioning it, but it really has.
Yeah,
It
there's
kind of
so
helps me
much information.
navigate a few things. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Trevor, obviously, of all the transactions, the closed, the pending, the active listings, some of them have been referrals, and why not? We'll
Hmm.
take those.
Yeah.
Four were for sale by owners, and then the majority, I don't know how many were referrals, probably maybe a handful. I don't know if you know the number.
Yeah. Maybe
Yeah.
four-ish, give or
Okay.
take. Yep.
Okay. So, out of 20 closed, so 27 closed and pending, four
Hmm.
referrals. 4 FSBOs, and then everybody else has been expired listings, which is phenomenal.
Hmm.
So, what is your approach with expireds? I know that when you first started, you said you were not, you were using a different script. Then you joined my training, started using my
Hmm.
script. What is the approach? What is the conversation like? And what can you share that would help agents that want to get into expired listings?
It's a great question.
Mm.
One of the biggest things I'll tell you is you just got to do it. Repetition, high volume makes up for a lack of skill.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
when it comes to selling like this, I had a lack of skill. I mean, I'd never done it, so I just made extra phone calls, and
Yes,
you'll
yes.
win it that way. But really, it was finding the motivation of the people. They obviously wanted to sell at some point. Something happened. They didn't sell, or they decided not to sell. You're going
Mm-hmm.
to hear that a lot when you call them. Is that no, we've decided just not to sell.
Yes. Yes.
Digging in and finding that motivation, and then really offering your service. You know you can help them. You know you can sell it.
Right.
You just have to get them back on board and believing that that is still possible for whatever their reason for selling is. And then you offer your service, and if it makes sense, they go for it.
Trevor, you said that there are no agents in your office or your company that are making these calls, but they
Mhm.
must be getting calls from other agents outside of your company. Are you the only one calling? I'm asking,
Oh
I don't
no, no,
know the answer.
no.
Maybe they're
I
saying, okay, well, he has nobody else calling, so that,
no, I get the objection all the time. Like, I'm sick of y'all calling. I get 100 calls a day or whatever. I mean, there's definitely
okay.
people in the area hitting the phones.
Okay. How do you
Yeah,
overcome that? What do you say? Or, how do you deal with that objection? Because that's very common. Like you're the 50th agent and I'm not
yeah.
interested and I'm not selling.
Well, honestly, your programs helped me a lot with that one. You've got some pretty good scripts with that. You know, just talking about, well, I'm not sure why these agents are calling you,
Yeah,
but
love it.
here's why I'm calling. Here's what I have to offer and what I'd like to discuss with you.
Mhm.
That's been hugely helpful. Prior to that, honestly, that one kind of stumped me a lot,
Yeah.
and I lost probably quite a few opportunities with that one
Mhm. Not
because
anymore.
yeah, I didn't know how to rebuttal it.
Yeah. I know
So that's been helpful.
you also said that the scripts you were using before you joined my program, now you use SalesX scripts, and it's working better for you because explain what you were doing before and why this is better. You're setting more appointments.
So the script I was using prior was kind of lengthy.
Yeah.
I chose it originally because it's not quite as bold. Yours is pretty bold.
Yep.
And with my an inherent call reluctance, I was a little timid. So I
Mm-hmm.
liked it. The
Mm-hmm.
problem I had is a lot of these people are getting blown up by agents, both FSBOs and expireds, and they weren't giving me enough time to get through the script.
Right.
So I
So
was
you're
getting hung
asking a
up
lot of
on.
questions. They don't have the patience to answer, basically.
Yeah, exactly. So when I switched, I found yours through a Facebook forum that I joined,
Mm-hmm.
where we would practice role plays, and
Yes.
they were all using your script. I'm like, what is this? And so they shared it with me, and
Yeah.
it's been helpful because it's quick. You get right to the point,
Yep.
and then you can handle objections from there.
Yeah, amazing. Now, I got to ask you this important question because maybe not in your area or maybe too, but a lot of agents are working in markets where there is a lot of inventory and they have listings that are not selling. Price is
Mhm.
incredibly critical. And I
Yeah,
know you're doing a really good job at pricing properties, your listings correctly, because obviously you have 20 closed and 7 pending. So what
right.
is your pricing strategy? Because, and one other thing, Trevor, a lot of agents, some that have never called expired listings would say, oh, it's a waste of time because they're all overpriced and they're not going to lower the price. And it's an excuse for not calling. Whether it's FSBOs or expireds, what is your pricing conversation and strategy to actually get your listing sold?
So you're right. A lot of them are a little bit lofty on what they think they can get for their property.
Yes.
And that's a tough conversation to have with people. The simplest answer is you just show them the data and kind of guide them and
Mhm.
let them lead themselves down the rabbit hole. They've already experienced what it's like to sit on market if they're an expired for however long and have no results.
Right.
They already know what that feels like. They already know the hassles. They already know the headaches associated with that. So you just present the data in a very clean, simple way and have an
Mm-hmm.
honest conversation with them. You need to know the motivation. I mean, why are they doing it to begin with? Because that's
Right.
key. If you
Yes.
know why they're doing it, then you can tell them ultimately what it's going to take to get it done and guide them to their own decision. And normally you can get the price that it needs to be, and it works.
You
I've had a couple where we've had to do
sound
some
very
price reductions.
Yeah, you make it sound easy because I know
It's yeah,
pricing is it's a delicate
it's
conversation
it's
because
touchy.
they're
Yeah,
all, every seller, I always say every homeowner wants more money for the house than the house is worth, no matter what the market is doing. And you've had really great success. I think just to reiterate, you mentioned guide them, help
hmm
them understand. I always say that's so critical because then when they get it, they cannot argue with you about it because they're
right,
like they're coming to that same conclusion. Do
sure.
you have any tools? Use market stats? I mean, obviously, you need a very well prepared CMA. What else can you offer in this conversation of pricing your listings correctly so they sell?
So the biggest thing is showing them. I'll always pull the active on markets as
Mm-hmm.
well as the closed because I
Yes,
like them to see what their competition's going to be.
correct.
And
Yes.
I'll identify out the ones that have been sitting on market, the days on market, and the different prices and the different ones that are sitting for longer. So we'll chat about that. We'll chat about the actual comps. And then I always print out a report from Showing Time that shows the active buyers in the area and which price point they're walking through. And that tells us where our buyer pool is.
Mhm.
And that's been really helpful because they can see tangibly in a report, hey, these are the doors that people are walking through the most.
Wow,
And
that's really
oftentimes it's the price that I kind of need them to be at.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And I think you mentioned I was speaking over you, so I apologize, but you said something about price reductions. I mean, you don't always walk out of the appointment with the price where it needs to be, but you're also I stay in touch with them and being aggressive about getting the price reduced because
Right.
that is what's in their best interest. How do you do that? How long do you wait before you actually discuss reducing the price?
So I discuss with my clients kind of a marketing plan. We go week by week. We have conversations weekly, of course, from the results of the past week and the plan for the coming week. And before we sign, I do have that conversation. Hey, if we get to week 3, week 4, and we haven't gotten an offer, this is the plan. We're going to be doing price reductions. And I always recommend $5,000 increments minimum.
What is your
And that's
average price, Trevor?
we're between 250 and 350 here.
Okay. Okay. So 5,000 is a good, and I'm sure depending on how overpriced it is, it might need a bigger reduction, but
Sure.
sounds like you're doing such a great job at the appointment that even if you need a reduction, you're not taking it astronomically high.
So far, I think the most I've had to reduce one, at least currently, has been 10.
Okay, excellent. And
Um,
one point that's very important, I want to make sure everybody heard that you said their motivation is important. You have to
it is.
know why they want to sell, what's going
Right.
on, what's the time frame, because unmotivated sellers are not reasonable.
Right.
So,
Yeah,
uh,
it ain't gonna work.
I'm going to ask a dangerous question. I don't know how you're going to answer this.
Okay.
Are you pre-qualifying your appointments?
That is a dangerous question.
Well, because I teach it. I say, make sure you,
Yeah.
I don't know how you're gonna tell.
Um, I probably to date still struggle with that because I get so excited when I get an appointment. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I've been on 69 appointments since October.
Really?
Yeah.
Listing appointments.
Yes. Listing
Whoa.
appointments. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Um,
So so your closing ratio is maybe 50%, a little bit lower. No, I'm adding up 20 plus 7 plus 4.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Uh-huh.
It
Okay.
I want to get it up, but
Oh,
again,
pre-qualifying is gonna help you there
yeah.
for sure.
Well, again, volume versus skill is what I've been working with. We're working to get the
Well,
skill
it
up,
is working for you
Yeah,
100%. I mean, phenomenal. This is such a great lesson because you said, I say that all the time. So it tells me like you're actually paying attention to what I teach. You said that volume makes up for a lack of skill. Not that you're not skilled. I mean, listen, it's
Oh, once
phenomenal.
I get it, yeah, it's
Yeah,
fine. I
but
can sell
the
it.
volume of appointments,
Mhm.
you're getting in front of a lot of people. I mean, the skill to actually have set all of those appointments, Trevor, is incredible. I mean,
I
there
appreciate
are
that.
agents that stay in real estate for months and even years, and they're not able to do what you've done. So it's phenomenal. So outside of pre-qualifying, because that's definitely going to help you increase your
It's
closing rate.
important. Yeah.
Yeah. What else do you feel you need to work on to actually get that? Can you imagine having your closing ratio go up to 78, even 90% of the appointments you go on? Yeah.
It'd be life changing. Yeah.
Right. It's amazing. So, what do you have in mind? What else, what other skill do you think you need to be working on to make that happen?
Well, the couple things that I struggle with are getting the listing appointment same day. A lot of the times I get pushed to next day, next week, and that's just an objection that I'm learning and working on.
Yes.
The other problem that I have is same day closing. So when I get in front of them, actually getting them to sign. I've never had that.
Mm, okay.
So most of my, like, all of mine have been through intense follow up
Yeah.
after the appointment.
Yeah.
So those are two things that I think would be life changing if I can gain the skill and get better at
When
that part.
not if,
Yes,
when.
when, yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah. And
yeah,
pre-call is big too. You're not going to
right,
forget that. You got to get on that.
yeah.
Trevor, let's talk a little bit about, because your results are really amazing, but I want to talk a little bit about the actual cold calling and some of the objections and challenges that you don't seem like you're having a lot of challenges setting appointments, but for the purposes of helping the viewers, it's like, okay,
Mhm.
tell me, how do you do it? Like, what is it that you're doing? Because I want to be able to do what you're doing when it comes to
Right.
the actual prospecting. So go ahead, just tell them whatever you think will be helpful for these agents.
Sure. So the biggest thing is I stick to the schedule.
Mm.
80% of the time at least.
Hey,
8
okay.
o'clock, 8 o'clock sharp, I'm dialing, and I'm dialing the new expireds.
Mm-hmm.
Um, then I'll jump to the FSBOs, then I'll jump to the old expireds, and then normally by then I'm a little burnt out, so I take a break. I go to the gym, I eat lunch, I come back. If I don't have appointments, I'm dialing the old expireds and doing my follow-ups.
Okay.
And I
Okay.
spend the rest of the day doing follow-ups, and then I start it over in the evenings.
Okay. So that schedule is critical.
Hmm.
What else do you feel that you're doing on the calls? Facebook's expired, doesn't matter. That if agents actually follow what you're doing, do this, say this, handle it this way, that is helping you set all of these appointments.
So the objection handlers that are in the script have been life changing for this, because those are the things you get stumped on, and after a while, you start to hear the same things over and over and over and over. With expireds, it's I'm not selling anymore, or I'm going to wait 6 months, or
Mm-hmm.
something of this nature. And learning how to get past that
Yeah.
is life changing. For the FSBOs, it's the same. Ultimately, they want to wait. They want to see what they can do on their own first. And
Yeah.
I think the way that has helped the most is that script. Whether we meet now or in 2 weeks or in a
I'm
month,
so proud right now. Yes.
yeah, that works. They're like, well, yeah, I mean, I guess we can meet. I mean, there's no harm. It's no obligation. It's just some information.
Yes.
It's just exploratory.
Yes.
And when you approach it takes some of the threat away. And ultimately, if you're doing your job, you get the listing, you're going to sell it, and they're going to be happy with the service, and they're going to end up making more money. I mean, that's the fact. I've been
Yep.
able to prove it to myself, and I had to get that in my own head. So once you realize that you are truly there to serve them, and you're going to do a great job. I mean, I had a closing Tuesday, and the lady got me a gift and wrote me this super nice like
Aw.
letter and was just super thankful. She FSBO'd for a month It took me 2 weeks to get the appointment.
Wow.
She FSBO'd for a month. I got the appointment, and then it took me another 2 weeks to get her to sign.
Mm-hmm.
3 days, I had her an over asking offer,
Wow.
and we closed. There was no hiccups, no issues. We had an appraisal issue. We had inspections, all that stuff. I was able to negotiate it, and she closed at more than she had listed for.
Oh my gosh, she loves you. There are
Yeah,
oh yeah, for sure. And you're feeling like, yeah, this is
yeah.
it builds more your confidence. I mean, you already had the confidence, but this
Right.
is the proof.
It solidified it, yeah. And so when you really do feel like you truly can help these people, and you can,
Yeah.
then you take their guard comes down because you really are just offering your service. You're offering to help them out, and they just don't know yet that they need you.
Yeah.
And
But
that's what it boils
this,
down to.
this belief you have that, oh yeah, I could really help them. And you show up to the calls and the appointment with that attitude and that belief, you're unstoppable because I think that, that mindset is a big challenge for agents because they don't believe in themselves. So I would
Sure.
say, how are you going to convince them that
Right.
listing with you is the best decision when you don't believe it yourself? That's
Right.
like backwards. So huge, huge.
Well, that hadn't been there since day one. I mean, I've listened to the YouTubes. I read the different scripts, and I'm like, well, I mean, why am I different? I mean, I'm gonna post it. I'm gonna do
Right.
this, that, and the third. But
Right.
when you really start practicing this stuff, you do realize that you are different than other agents, and you can sell these properties and
Yeah.
do a great job at it.
Absolutely. So, Trevor, what is your goal for this year, 2025? We're in beginning of June.
Yeah. So I set a goal when I got into real estate. I wanted to do 45 deals the first year.
Oh, you're there. You're on
I'm
track.
almost there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel good about where I'm at. For the coming year, my goal is 10 a month
10
listings.
transactions, listings. Which
10
one?
listings.
10
10
listings
listings.
taken. Absolutely. Actually, before we started recording, you mentioned that goal, and I
Yep.
set a challenge for the clients in Sales X community on June 2nd, 8 to 10 listings in June. So you're right there. You got to stay on it. You got to
Yep.
100%, you can make it happen. I know you're on vacation. Oh yeah, in the midst of all of this, sounds like you
Yep.
took the 1 month off because you were
I
on.
did. Yeah.
Yeah, and let's not forget that. So everything
Yeah.
he's done, it's like in a very short period of time. So
Right.
now you're back. 10 a
Right.
month it is starting in June for sure.
Right.
Trevor, any final words of wisdom for new agents or agents that have been in real estate for a while and they're struggling? Like, I don't know, just one or two final thoughts.
I'll just say you just got to do it. I mean, get out there, make the calls, do the work. You're never going to feel ready. Just
Yeah.
get out there and do it.
Yeah.
You'll learn as you go.
Thank you. You took the words out of my mouth. That's exactly right. And even if you said you had experience in real estate in a different area of real estate, but
Mhm.
you've never cold call, like you've never
No,
done direct sales like this. And look at the results just because you're doing it.
yeah, repetition.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Trevor. It's been
Yeah, thank
awesome.
you,
A
Jackie.
pleasure. Great work. And I can't wait to talk to you a year from now and
Yeah,
talk about those 10 listings a month because I have no doubt in my mind that
yeah,
you're going to make that happen. So
that's the
it was a
plan.
pleasure. Thanks again. Hey, anybody watching, you need a great agent in High Point, North Carolina? Trevor Dixon is the guy. So
That's
thanks
right.
for watching. See you soon, Trevor.
Thank you. Bye bye.